First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the universities that are here, TCU and Virginia and Ole Miss and all the other clubs that are in the other side of the bracket and everybody's administration. And it's a neat deal to be here, and we're excited about the challenge of the competition. And of course, I want to thank all the people back home in Lubbock. It's been a neat time back there here the last couple of weeks, and we're looking forward to competing this week. Well, we first of all, I think our league deserves a little bit of recognition for that. I mean, I probably should have said that in the opening deal. I mean, we got a really good league and some really good coaches in our league, good assistant coaches in our league, and our league kind of put us in position to do that by being able to get into postseason and be able to kind of get on a run. Got really good people around us. I mean, Coach Hayward and Coach Gardner and Coach Thomas. Our operations guy, Coach Hughes, I mean, and then our whole administration and really just top to bottom. I mean, it's we got a really good group of people and pretty big small part. I mean, I'm a small part of the deal and just thankful to be here. We've been pretty decent. I mean, for the most part, pitching and catching it and. We've had a bunch of guys in and out of the lineup. We had a shortstop that was out for about 20 games. Had an outfielder who was out about the same amount. And but for the most part, we've been able to put a club out there that can pitch it and catch it if we need to. And also, we've taken some risks some days and gone with a little more. We call it the big package at certain times, which I don't know if you can get away with here at Rosenblatt with the spacious outfield. But in our ballpark at home and even at Coach Schlossnagel's, there's certain days with the wind blowing, ball hangs up a little more, and really playing defense. I mean, you got to give something to get something, and we try to put guys in the right spot best we can. And I mean, all that can go out the window real easy if you're not locating the pitch, and so it all really comes back to that bump out there in the middle of the field. Part of that question, you said, how do you retain your energy? Is that what you said? When you get here, is that what the end of the question was? We don't have any problem with energy. I mean, we try to manage that the best we can, and I'm sure any team that's gotten here to this point is pretty good at that as far as that goes. As far as parity in college baseball, it's interesting. You look across the country, and it's just really interesting to me that, if you get in, you really got a really good chance of getting in. But the easiest way to explain it for me is there's a lot of good baseball guys out there working really hard. There's a lot of guys that aren't here. There's a lot of good baseball people that aren't in college baseball, that are in all kinds of professions. And but when you line up right now in Division I baseball, junior college baseball, there's just guys working their tail off across the country now. The interesting part about the parity discussion to me is when you start really looking at the different states and what's really out there amongst the different states, and that's a whole different topic. Most of us, I want to say, I mean, you're talking about a private school here, so it's about as hard as it gets as far as at a private school, and then you talk a big school, all state universities as far as that goes. But each state has its different limits and boundaries on what they can do with scholarships. And so the parity deal is, we could talk about it a long time. I mean, I think all of us could go sit down and have dinner and go, well, we'd like to have those in-state deals that don't count against 11-7. But we all don't have them. And but that's the card you're dealt. And the simplest thing is, though, what your question is, the simplest thing is there's a lot of people out there working really hard. And that's why you have the equal balance across college baseball. I mean, you don't get to this point, you don't get to postseason without working hard and without doing things the right way. So, and we don't have enough time to talk about the parity deal. He's looking at me. I think on any given day, I think our league, I think we've said that across the board. I think we can play with anybody. At the same time, I think that's probably the case in a lot of leagues. I think our league on any given day, though, can play baseball with anybody. I think we had a really good year this year in our league. I think Tim Wisner, I think Bob Berta do a great job with our league. I think baseball is important to the Big 12. I think it's a neat recognition for us to have 3 teams here, and almost had 4 here, and could real easy. I mean, could have been another team get hot and maybe got here. But really, to get 3 here is quite an accomplishment. It's something that's neat for the state of Texas. There's some really good teams in the state of Texas that aren't here. And he and I know that, and these guys know that. I mean, there's guys out there on the road right now trying to beat us next year. I mean, I can assure you right now, they're trying to round up some guys and put together a competitive team. And we all really enjoy that competition. We all get along. It's a neat fraternity of people, and just a neat time.
I think Coach Tadlock.
Compare numbers now, because they say numbers don't lie, right? His staff, obviously, with Finnegan and Alexander and Morrison and Kipper and Farrell, and just keep going down the list. I mean, you got one arm, good, just good arm after good arm, and really just, it's really impressive what kind of staff they put together. And obviously, we know whoever they name, we got our hands full as far as that goes. And all those guys, again, kind of like what he said about our guys. I mean, he's got a power guy in the left-hander in Finnegan, and then Morrison's kind of, how do you explain Morrison? I don't really know how you explain him other than he can really pitch, and he has a lot of deception. And then Alexander's done a great job in his first year. In the Big 12, for a young man to go out and start on Sundays and win as many games he did. I think he threw 2 complete games there late for him, and probably clinched the regional, and I think also the Big 12 tournament. And really proud of that young man. I mean, you get to know these guys, and just proud of him at that point, and all of them, really. I mean, we kind of, other than Morrison, I guess we kind of run into all of them. Finnegan, and I don't think we ran into Farrell. You got there before us. But all those guys, I mean, you're just proud of them, and he's done a really good job for them. And but we're looking forward to the challenge. At this point in the year, whoever you face, they're going to have some pitching. But I do think you ought to go back and look at the numbers, because the deal about not losing a game, I don't know about all that carrying on.